Hey, what's up? I don't know who's really going to see this video, whether you've watched my previous stuff or not, but that doesn't really matter to me. I'm Tomko, and for every single day of the past 3 years, I've been making art. And to be exact, that makes 1,115 days from the day of this recording. Every single one of those over 1,000 days, I've managed to draw something for some amount of time. For a bit of context, I started making art for the first time 4 years ago. For the first year, I wasn't that serious. I made a lot of mistakes looking back on it, but the one mistake I didn't make was realizing that art was something that I wanted to do in my foreseeable future. And so I made a New Year's resolution at the beginning of 2022 to draw every day, and here I am over 1,000 days later. I started this channel a little over 2 months ago, and for now I think it's doing pretty well, especially considering I'm just pretty much pouring all of my work into it. But this isn't what you clicked on this video for, and I didn't make this video to show off my art or my channel or anything like that. I'm making this video because every time I say stuff like I've drawn for 1,000 days or anything like that, people ask me, how did I do it without burning out? How did I do it without running out of things to draw? How did I find the mentality to wake up yesterday and do something? Wake up today, do that same thing, and plan to wake up and do it for years and years. And when asked this question, I usually just give people the short answer of, well, I just did it. Or I didn't give up and it just sort of happened. And sure, that's true, but that's just answering the question with the question. And that's not really useful to people looking for actual real kind of advice on this. So here's my best shot at giving you the long answer on how you can stick through pretty much anything that you want to do in life for a very long time, or at the very least 4 years. Before you want to do anything for a long time, think to yourself this one thing. Where do you see yourself if this succeeds? Nothing major like planning out your life, but say you wanted to learn the guitar. Before you buy that guitar, think to yourself, if I were to get good at this thing, would this be the best version of myself? After drawing as a hobby for a few months, I was still very bad and I didn't like most of what I made. But what got me to stay on track and ultimately decide that this is what I wanted to do was that person I saw myself as years down the line. I love the idea of being an artist, as stupid as that sounds. When I see myself in the future, I look forward to being that person who creates entirely new people, ideas, worlds on a canvas and sharing that with other people. Okay, so let's say you have that image of yourself in your mind. Now it's time to get to doing that actual thing. So you watching me are currently most likely living a very different life compared to mine and have very different opinions on many things, including that thing that you want to do every day. And I can't change any of that. But what I can do is tell you how I changed my thinking to get what I got done, how to do what I do. Art started out as just a hobby, something that I like to do from time to time and didn't put much thought into. It was something that I wanted to do. Well, now it's time to change that. Whatever it is you want to do, you now have to think that you need to do it. To need and to want are two very different things, and there needs to be a clear distinction between them if we're going to stay on track. To want something is to require motivation to do it. To want to play that one very fun video game. To want to watch that one movie. If you didn't care about that thing, you would simply just not do it. To need something is to be capable of doing it without or with very little motivation. You need to sleep. You need to eat. You need to scroll TikTok, rest in pepperonis. Maslow's hierarchy of needs: food, water, shelter, rest, and now add that thing onto that list. You need to need what you're doing. I need to draw every day. It doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be hard, but I need to do it at least once or I just won't feel like myself. And this isn't oh, he's gifted or oh, he's talented, so he needs to do that one thing that he's talented at. I didn't know a single thing about drawing a little over 4 years ago. If anything, the only thing I've ever really been good at is like math and school stuff because I've pretty much aced every class up until college. But realistically, how is that really going to help me in anything? I mean, I pretty much hated everything I did in there. And what am I going to do? Hand an interviewer my A+ in calculus or English literature, whatever? We're getting a little bit off topic. But anyways, the day that I stopped drawing is the day that one of 3 things happened to me. 1, I have failed in my grand journey. It is the day that I have chosen to stop needing what makes me me. 2. I've made it. I completed what I set out to achieve. I'm an awesome master of art. I no longer need to make art because I've succeeded in it so much that I've given myself the liberty to simply just want it again, which probably won't happen for a long time. Or 3. I die or have a horrible lawnmower accident or something and lose my arms and rest in pepperonis myself. Okay, motivation. I want to touch on motivation a bit because I do think that it is an important part of things. Yes, I just said to learn how to do things without motivation, but that doesn't mean it isn't useful or isn't needed at all. Surround yourself in an environment that keeps you motivated to do what you do. Constantly feed that motivation beast and try to keep it going as long as possible, because that's where you get your highest highs. That's when you love what you do the most. That's what picks you up from your lowest lows. My entire room is filled with art that I like. The wall above my workstation is like a mini reference board. I have art books all over the place. I play these gacha games that basically rob me in broad daylight when there's a new character because I love the art styles. I watch anime, I read manga. My entire social media feed is pretty much just art. Pretty much everything I do ties back to art and it motivates me to make the next thing. But even with all of that, there are days when I don't feel like drawing, but that doesn't matter because whether or not I feel like it, I can just sit down and do it because that's simply just me. I need it. That's the difference between needing something and using motivation. Motivation is nice and will definitely help, but if that's the only thing you go off of, you won't survive the days without it. I know this all sounds extreme, because it is. But again, keep in mind, this is a mentality I've worked up towards for about 4 years, 3 of which I've been working on the same skill for every single day. So this final bit is going to be a warning. I'm not telling you to forsake your life or your work on this one thing for 6, 7, 8 hours a day when you're still not sure if you even like it. Nothing important or meaningful in your life is achievable in a week or a month or even a year if you really break it down. You need to start small. 30 minutes a day for a month during, let's say, your lunch break. Then the next month, 45. Then the next month, an hour, whatever fits into your schedule. And who knows, after working up for a year or two, then you can decide whether or not you actually want to dedicate a significant part of your life to that thing. But going too hard too early will 100% burn you out before you even really get started. And it would be a damn shame to quit something early on and come back to it years later just to learn that you actually love that thing and wish you could have stuck with it sooner. That's it. What was that? 4 steps. What is your goal? Learn to need that goal. Turn that goal into a part of you by breeding your own motivation and work your way up. Have some patience and acknowledge that you're still just a person and can't do everything all at once. This is a bit of a ranty video compared to some of my earlier stuff, but this is something that I wanted to make for a while, and I hope just one person watching this will end up discovering something that they love doing as much as I do when it comes to art because of this video. But that's it. If you're still here and you think art is something you're interested in, I'd greatly appreciate if you checked out some of my stuff. You don't have to, but you know, it's there. Oh, it's been a hot minute since I mentioned my socials, but they do exist and they're in the description. But anyways, with that, I'll catch y'all in the next one.